VHS Files contains spoilers, adult content, and harsh language. Listener discretion is advised.
It's showtime. It's showtime.
Welcome to the VHS Files Podcast with Jenny Lou,
So what do you want to do tonight?
Jason,
What about pizza and movie night?
Eric,
I want to rent a movie.
and Josh.
I want to go to a good video store so I can get a good movie.
And this is the movie of the week.
Get this pizza movie night started.
Hi, and welcome back to the VHS Files Podcast.
We are about to have a good time.
You're about to have a great time.
I'm very excited.
This is awesome.
I love to speak about movies.
Movies are good.
This is Josh filling in for Jenny, who's filling in for Eric, who's filling in for Jason.
We hope you like the program we have in store for you tonight.
I love programs.
Tonight, our program will consist of a movie that we watched.
You're like the guy from Parks and Rec.
Yes, exactly.
Everybody must talk in a monotone voice for the rest of this episode.
Dude, I've been watching a shitload of trailers lately. Have you guys watched any of these trailers that have been dropping? Has anybody seen the trailer for Lamb?
No.
Oh,
No.
man.
What
I
is this?
saw a pretty sweet 20-footer. It was like a single axle. It was pretty rad.
Wrong trailer, Eric. A bunch of A24 trailers dropped in like that movie Lamb, The Green Knight, which I think the Green Knight trailer dropped a little while back, but I just watched
Green
it.
Knight trailer has been out for ages.
Well,
It's been out since the Middle Ages, you might
Yes,
say.
like literally, dude. That movie was supposed to come out how many years ago?
That movie's already out and is getting amazing reviews.
and
That's how old that trailer is.
I do a movie podcast.
Jesus.
You think I would have known that, right?
You'd think. Get your nose in 1987 too often.
You know what?
Dude, we just live in 1987, dude. We just stay here. We're just going to do every movie from 1987.
Welcome to the VHS Files, where we just talk about movies from 1987.
Welcome to the 1987 file.
Yeah.
And so then Eric doesn't have to do any more sending you back in time or nothing because he has covered every news thing he can possibly do for
Yeah,
1987.
from now on, I'm just going to throw it to Eric. Eric, tell us what happened in 1987.
Well, Josh,
Well, Josh, I'm really fucking tired of talking about 1987. Get with the new times. It's 2021. Oh, and another interesting tidbit that I found out today, Scarlett Johansson suing Disney over Black Widow. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
They cut,
rightfully so, I would say.
Yeah,
They
I
cutting
think
into
she
her
needs to
funds,
get
man.
her money.
Get that
Get your
money.
money, girl.
get that girl
Yeah.
a paycheck.
Well,
People aren't showing up at that movie without her in it.
well,
Yeah.
I guess.
She just wants her contract to be right, so fine.
Yeah.
Disney can afford it.
They can, and she's one of the most in-demand actresses, I would say, in the world. Like,
Yeah.
it'd be stupid of them.
It's a slam dunk.
Yeah.
They should have somehow dealt with that out of the public
Oh, yeah, for sure.
limelight. I can't believe that Disney was dumb enough
No,
to let
what
that
they've done,
get that far.
they're like, oh no, we've got Florence Pugh now. She ruled in that movie. We're done with Scarlett Johansson. We'll just pay her and get her out of our hair. It's over.
Nope.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And Disney's already like saying, that she has no substantial evidence of the blah, blah, blah. I'm like, just pay the fucking woman her
Yeah.
damn money.
Yeah, if there's anything Disney can do, it's pay their actors.
Yeah, they're fine. They're
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, because I guess in her contract that she gets money on the back end from the box office, but not from Disney Plus.
Right.
So I mean, and how much should we say that opening weekend Disney Plus made 60 million along? If that was all in the theater, she would have had a bigger
And
cut.
Jason's watched the movie 10 times and he got it on Disney Plus. So therefore she's missing that money that Jason forked out.
Hey, but I've watched it in the theater, so I did contribute to her back pocket.
Yeah, whatever,
It's a
man.
nice back pocket too. Just saying that.
It has lots of pockets.
Lots of pockets.
Lots of pockets.
Are we talking about the vest or pants?
The vest pocket? You contributed to the vest pocket.
Yeah, I'll do that one too.
Put some extra batteries in there, maybe some matches.
But Josh, are we talking about Black Widow this week, or what are we talking
We're
about?
absolutely not talking about Black Widow
Because
this
that didn't
week.
come out in
We
1987.
talked about Black Widow a couple weeks ago. If you want to listen to that, go back and listen to it. But this week we're talking about Summer School.
The movie of the week.
Freddie Shoup loves to cut class, hates to do homework, lives for summer vacation.
Look, Freddie, you're a semi-charming guy and a real snappy dresser. You're just not the kind of guy I date anymore.
Yeah? What kind of guy you dating now?
Oh, the kind who wears socks.
And the only reason he hasn't been expelled yet is because he's the gym teacher.
Oh, Mr. Shoup.
At Oceanfront High.
Congratulations. You've been chosen to teach summer school. No, I'm not a real teacher. That's all right. These aren't real students. They're unmotivated, irresponsible, not too bright. They'll relate to you.
You in this class too?
I'm teaching them.
No way!
Right off the bat, you show them who's in charge. Please take your seats.
Where should we take him?
Who is in charge?
I recommend this time I pass. You're gonna do well, Jerome. I can feel it.
I've seen some of your students. Very scary.
There's a very valid reason for summer vacation. The human brain needs rest.
I know you guys aren't exactly fired up about English, but we're stuck here. We're trapped like rats.
Tension breaker had to be done.
Mark Harmon,
You need an intelligent, sensitive man who can skate.
Kirstie Alley,
Do you know such a guy?
Oh, they're hard to find.
and the Oceanfront High Summer School class of '87.
They're as smart as you and me. You and I.
All of us. Paramount Pictures presents a new film by Carl Reiner, Summer School.
I love this film. It had passion and a plucky spirit. Dave, I agree with you. Thumbs up from me. Same here. To sum it up, I'm Chainsaw. I'm Dave. We'll see you at the movies.
Boo! I hate summer school. Oh wait, we're talking about the movie.
I had to go to summer school one year. Did anybody else have to go to summer school?
I did not.
No,
It sucked.
only in college.
I did take a summer school class, but it was just weightlifting.
Jock.
Well, that kind of relates to this movie a little bit, since
Just
we
being
kinda-
honest. Yeah, exactly. I was the jock guy. The whole football team, we just got a PE credit for just going.
You guys
going to work
got
out.
PE credits, but the cheerleaders busted their asses at 5 a.m. every weekday during the summer. Also
I don't know what you're
used
talking
the weight
about.
room and got no credit for it.
I don't know. That's your school in a different
just
city. I
saying.
don't know about my cheerleaders.
Yeah, I don't know about your cheerleaders either, but that just seems unfair.
All right. So
I mean, you're not going to fill a stadium for people to watch the cheerleaders cheer. That's all I'm saying.
Is the work not as hard?
Some sports generate money for the school. I don't know.
The cheerleaders are at every game.
They are.
Oh, Josh, let's just sit back.
I
Let this
support
happen.
cheerleaders fully.
I'm gonna go get a coffee. I'll be back when you guys finish this.
Yeah, y'all finish this up. And when we come back, and Jenny has reached through the computer and freaking face slammed Eric into
I'm
his
fully
desk.
supportive of all females and whatever they're into.
Well, all right. Well, I was going to tell a story about summer school, but I don't want to get on that bandwagon now. So,
Do tell.
well, it's kind of embarrassing, but I mean, it's my life. So, you got to tell these stories sometimes. I actually failed 6th grade because I went to summer school and could not finish because my mom was pregnant with my sister and had to take me out of summer school. Therefore, I did not pass 6th grade and had to take 6th grade again.
Okay,
Oh,
let me add to that. I failed the 7th grade
No
because
comment.
I did not finish summer school and I had to do the 7th grade all over again. Josh, our lives are just too much,
Damn, guys.
too similar.
So
in so many ways.
Jason and I are the two dummies here, and Jenny and Eric.
A bummer.
Hey, I am Chainsaw. You can be Dave.
There you go. I like that idea.
You are chainsawing, Dave, honestly.
Hey, while watching this I've seen this movie so many times. I'm watching this and I'm like, oh my God, this is me and Josh if we would have known each other in high school.
Don't call me Francis.
100%.
Don't call me Francis, you fucker.
Yeah, don't call me Francis.
Well, this movie was directed by Carl Reiner, which I did not realize until we picked it for this week. And wow, I mean, I didn't even realize he had directed all these movies that he's directed. We're talking The Jerk,
Loved that movie.
He directed
Love
The
it.
Jerk.
The Jerk. He did the Man with Two Brains. He did Summer Rental, which we just watched recently. So, like, I had no idea he had directed so many movies. I'm more familiar with Rob Reiner. So
Yeah.
Sure.
But he was also a good actor, dude. He's been in Ocean's 11,
Yep.
12, 13, 8, History of the World Part 1.
he was in this.
He's a legend in comedy. I mean,
Right. Been around forever.
you know, the guy is an absolute comedic legend. It was fun seeing him in the movie.
Yeah. For the short
pops up.
short period of time we saw
Briefly.
him. But yeah, I mean, he kind of sets everything in motion here.
Yep.
But yeah, it was cool to see him in the movie. This was released June 22nd, 1987. And I did not, again, like the past couple of movies we've had, I haven't been able to find a budget for. Jason, did you find a budget for Summer School?
I even did a search just for the budget, and it still said none posted. All it had was what they made. I don't know what it is where movies in this time.
Yeah, I mean,
they're not giving us a budget at all.
But again, I mean, this kind of goes back to the same thing of One Crazy Summer. This budget couldn't have been very big, and the box office on this was $35.7 million. So I would imagine this movie did pretty well at the time it came out.
This movie looks like a TV movie.
It does. It does look a little cheap.
I would say One Crazy Summer looks more cinematic than this movie.
Right.
And that's saying something. Jenny, don't roll your eyes. I can see you, I can see you rolling your eyes.
She's still mad about the whole cheerleader thing, dude. So you just need to be quiet.
Well, being the time this came out, again, 1987, it was released amongst a slew of movies that we have already talked about on this show. The Lost Boys, La Bamba, RoboCop,
so many.
Adventures in Babysitting.
Lost Boys.
Again, we've mentioned it before. Eric's favorite, The Brave Little Toaster.
Yeah.
It also, Revenge of the Nerds 2 came out around this time, which actually features someone from this movie in it as well.
Yeah, for basically, if you need to know any movie that came out in 1987, go and listen to the VHS Files Podcast anywhere you get your podcast, because almost every movie we have is 1987.
There you go.
Every one of them.
You want to jump in that DeLorean and go back in time, which is where Eric is about to take us.
We're sending you back in time.
Whoa, this is heavy.
Yes, Josh. Yes. 1987, once again. It marked the debut of the World Solar Challenge, the first solar-powered car race. The winner, you ask? General Motors Sun Racer. Naturally, guys, of course, I'm all for renewable energy. I actually once asked a wind turbine what its favorite type of music was. It said, I'm a big metal fan.
Josh is on it this week.
Oh, you had the wrong music cue on that one, friend. That was a banger.
That was a good one, I will admit.
Cher won an Oscar in 1987 for her performance in Moonstruck. Again, just something I'd never share with you guys. I played Scrabble with Cher once. She asked what letter I picked. I told her, I've got you, babe. You're right. That's it.
Man.
Michael Jackson releases his Bad album in 1987. I don't know if you guys saw in the news, after his passing, doctors tested his DNA and discovered he had Billie Jeans. He had Billie Jeans. Okay.
You had to think about it for a second.
Hey, that's Casey Neistat's wife's company, Billie Jeans, right? Yeah. No Casey Neistat fans here? Okay.
Never heard of him. Never heard of him. Josh, leave.
Okay, I'll go fuck myself.
Time Magazine's 1987 Man of the Year was Mikhail Gorbachev. And you know what? If pronouncing my B's as V's makes me sound Russian, then Soviet.
That joke was for Kate. That was just for Kate.
And finally, we lost an amazing hip hop legend recently, and I want to say rest in peace to Biz Markie. Hit it, Josh.
Nobody beats the Biz. Nobody beats the Biz. Nobody beats the Biz. I go for what I know do when they show for human beings. I'm about to beat the rock to make the ladies scream and shout. I'm about to wreck your body as they turn the party out. The party rapper don't always have a...
We've lost a handful of musicians here in this past week, and it's been pretty sad.
Yeah, and a lot of hip hop guys recently as well. Doom, Gift of Gab. It's a bummer.
Yeah, and Jason and I being big metal heads, I mean, we lost Joey Jordison, the ex-drummer for Slipknot this week. That was some pretty bad news for us. I mean, he's only like 5 years older than I am, so it's kind of crazy.
46. We lost Dusty Hill.
Dusty Hill, ZZ Top. Yep.
ZZ Top, bass player.
Right here, GA, right here, right outside of LaGrange. That's where we're at. I mean, yeah, sad times, but we are getting older, and I guess this is what happens when you get old: is people start falling off, I guess.
Yep. But speaking of music, for this movie, I did not realize who the composer was until I did notice.
Did anybody else pay attention and find out who the composer was? Jenny, go ahead and drop the knowledge on Eric real quick.
Danny Elfman.
Danny Elfman did the fucking music.
That's crazy.
Yeah. When his name popped up in the credits, and I was like, what? I think it's a majority of like pop music that's in there, though, because there's not really too much traditional score within this, but there's some Oingo Boingo on the soundtrack and stuff like that too. So, but yeah, when I saw Danny Elfman's name pop up in the credits, I was like, what?
Yeah, that is weird.
I'm like, this is not a Tim Burton movie. Not at all.
Well, I mean, if the title doesn't tell you what you need to know, I mean, you've got schools getting out for summer, and all of a sudden these test scores come back that these handful of kids did not pass, so they've got to get somebody to cover for the English summer school classes. And Carl Reiner's character, Mr. Deardorian, is supposed to be teaching summer school English for all these kids, but as we see in the beginning of the movie, he's sitting there playing his scratch-offs. I don't know how many he's got there, but he wins, I think they said $50,000.
$50,000.
And he's like, fuck you guys, I'm out.
Yep. 1987, that's a good chunk of money for 1987.
Yep.
I mean,
let's take that now.
Even nowadays, that's more than a yearly teacher salary. And
I was about to say, that's definitely a good teacher salary for the year, $50,000. Probably make half that. If that.
But
a new teacher does make about half that.
But as we get into this, we find out, they've got to get somebody to cover for the summer school classes and teach the English summer school. And we've got Mark Harmon here, who plays Freddie Shoop. Mark Harmon, most famous for
NCIS.
NCIS, dude.
Yeah.
Plays Gibbs.
My wife and daughter watch NCIS. They've been going through it. So she was cracking up watching a young Mark Harmon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because he's kind of serious in the show. He's very kind of cut and dry. And I heard he may be leaving the show soon. So
that show's still on.
To be completely honest, I've never even seen an episode of NCIS.
I haven't either, other than walking by it in the living room. But it's been on for a while.
When you say NCIS, all I think is CSI Miami, and I just keep thinking of dude putting his sunglasses on saying one-liners. I also get Mark Harmon confused with the Summers guy, the guy from Nickelodeon.
Mark Summers?
Mark Summers.
Yeah, like I get... Because their names are Mark, I guess. I get them confused.
Double Dare.
Yeah, Double Dare.
Man.
He looks kind of like Mark Summers. And you got the same era.
Yeah.
That's fair.
But we open this movie up and we find out all this information right off the bat. And Freddie Shoop is headed to Hawaii with his girlfriend. And he says it straight up to this guy. What's his name? Vice Principal Gills, who blackmails him into doing summer school for the summer. This would not fly. This is completely not right.
I mean, we're existing in not a reality.
Right.
I when this started, I was afraid I was about to get another One Crazy Summer because things felt silly. Like when all the teachers are like rolling up their windows and taking off.
Yeah.
So that the guy can't recruit them. Like, obviously you can't call them or, it's like once you leave the parking lot, you're out for the summer or something. It's a little silly. Like we're in a kind of a silly universe here a little bit. Not as stupid and silly as One Crazy Summer, thankfully.
Hey, dude. Whoa.
For me, I was a little concerned, but as we got into it, I was like, okay, this isn't too bad.
If you want to hear Eric's full thoughts on One Crazy Summer, you can go back and listen to that episode, which goes out last week.
This is the episode where we plug all of our episodes.
That's right.
Did anybody do their homework on the school that they're actually shooting this movie at?
It looks very familiar, and it's probably been in so many other movies that I didn't do the research on. But
anybody?
No.
Nothing. No. It's the same school from Karate Kid.
Ah, okay. That's why it looks familiar. Cool.
So I thought that was pretty cool. Little tie into some Karate Kid.
There's a couple of particular schools in California that I think they shot a lot of these high school 80s movies at. Like there's that movie, Just One of the Guys. The school there has been in a bunch of different movies.
That's a good movie too.
Yeah, which I actually want to talk about that one on the show. It's been a long time since I've seen it. I think it might cause some discussion amongst us with some of the topics that are in that one nowadays.
Maybe,
but
just a little bit.
But yeah, I mean, this is as if it's not bad enough that he's been coerced into doing summer school for the summer. His girlfriend just decides to up and go to Hawaii without him, which I thought was pretty fucked up.
I mean, what would you do?
And she made him take her to the airport.
Yeah. I mean, the way that scene plays out is pretty funny. How he's trying to convince her to stay. She just decides to go, and she's like, "Oh no, if I didn't love you, I wouldn't make you drive me to the airport." It's like, come on. So what do you guys think of summer school as we're getting into this? Tell me your first impressions, or your Jason. I mean, you've seen this quite a bit. Eric, I think this was your first time watch. I don't think Jenny has seen it a bunch of times. I think this was probably your second or third watch, maybe.
Yeah, it wasn't one I grew up with.
Yeah. So, Eric, give me your first impressions.
Yeah, first watch for me. And like I said in the beginning, I was a little concerned, a little shaky. But as it went, I was going along with it, and I ended up enjoying it overall, I would say. I think I was afraid that the kids were going to be awful and obnoxious, and honestly, they all end up being kind of endearing in their own way, which is kind of a balancing act. And there's a lot to work with there. And they're so awful at the beginning, right. Some of them especially. The fact that you end up kind of rooting for these kids by the end, I think is a testament to the quality of the film.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
Okay. I mean, Jason, I don't have to ask you. I'm pretty sure you've seen this quite a few times. I think you like it from the discussions we've had about it in the past. But give me your rundown of summer school, like when you saw it and what you thought of it when you were a kid and stuff.
Well, I mean, I like it enough. I'm rocking my trucker hat for Chainsaw, so got to have the backwards trucker cap on. Nah, seen this movie so many times as a kid. Of course, totally related to Chainsaw and Dave through the whole movie. I'm not kidding. I mean, like, even in knowing you, Josh, in our adult years, I was like, that is totally me and Josh in high school if we had known each other then. I don't know if that would be that great of a makeup artist as those guys were, but holy shit,
they were really good.
Those dudes should have been working on Hollywood movies by that time. I would have been like, oh my fuck, summer school.
Dude, yeah, some of their practical effects in that movie are better than some, decent budget horror movies through the 80s and 90s.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, we're gonna be talking about a movie on the horror section coming up pretty soon, where I think the effects in this were way better than the ones in that one. So there's a little nugget for you if you want to tune into that horror section when it comes out. We're gonna be talking Life Force, so look for that one coming up.
Nugget.
But it's I mean, it was a great movie. Like you said, you meet the young Mark Harmon in this. The character Denise that's in this that has the dyslexia problem. I mean, we'd seen her in The Principal. A bunch of 80s movies at this time. She always played that student that had some kind of trouble to
She
her.
was in one of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, I think.
Part 5.
Yep, the worst one.
Yeah. I can agree, and then say there's also some more worse ones. But yeah, it's a great movie. I enjoyed it very, 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 very much.
Was that 100 words?
And that's 100 words. You can count them.
That's 100 words. You count them, buddy.
Jenny, what did you think of summer school?
I had fun with it. It, like I said, didn't see it growing up. I think I probably saw it for the first time with you.
If so, it has to have been a long time ago, because I couldn't even remember the last time I watched this movie.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it more than I thought I was going into it.
Yeah. And like Eric said, I mean, it starts with some pretty, hokey stuff with the teachers driving off and not wanting to teach school and just sort of getting Shoop getting blackmailed into doing summer school, essentially. But yeah, I mean, you could see where it might start to go down that path where it's just going to be this silly, kooky sort of, comedy that's going to get all slapsticky. But compared to something like what we've watched in One Crazy Summer, this one does not go that way. Actually, this movie gets kind of heartfelt in a way, in my opinion.
There's actually character development in this movie, whereas there is zero in One Crazy Summer.
Right.
Yeah.
We find out more about Pam and Kirstie Alley in this movie than we did of Demi Moore in One Crazy Summer.
Speaking of Kirstie Alley, this is actually her first major film role. Is this movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she'd done TV and other stuff, but this is her first major film role.
Well, she had done Cheers at this point, I believe. So
yeah, I think so. I can't
Hey,
remember.
I can say that I just went to Cheers like this summer.
you did. I saw pictures.
Yeah.
Of it. Yeah, that's right.
I went to
You
Cheers.
should throw some pictures up on Twitter of you at Cheers on the
yeah, I will.
Twitter.
Fine, I will.
Was Norm there?
No. No.
Did everybody
Norm was
know
not
your
there.
name?
No one knew my name, which was weird.
There should be some kind of a stipulation to where you have to put a name tag on in order to go in there, so they have to call you by your name.
There was beer. I drank beer there. So that's good.
Yeah, I mean, our introduction to all the kids that he's going to be teaching in summer school. I mean, we've already talked about Francis, Chainsaw, and Dave. You've got Pam, who's the surfer girl who's just kind of looking out the window, longing at the waves. That's where she wants to be, but fortunately, she's here having to do English summer school. One of the ones that I wanted to bring up was Jerome.
Dude,
this dude's here. Like his first statement to Shoop is, "Machine says I didn't pass that test." Like he's just so like.
I didn't fail. The computer was wrong.
Right.
That dude's in the program.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's one. Yeah. That dude is huge.
He is.
And I do love that he goes to the bathroom for the entirety of the film. Comes back and has the highest score of anyone.
Yeah. It's
in the bathroom for 6 weeks, man. 6 weeks.
And the way it's announced, like when they're going over the scores at the end, he goes, "Well, the guy that was in the bathroom had a 96."
I remember that guy. You got Rhonda, the pregnant girl,
who we're going to be talking about later. Just wait.
I know we will.
Oh yeah.
You got Denise. You got Kevin, the football player that's kicked off the team for his grades. You got Alan, who is it? Alan who's sleeping all the time?
No, Larry sleeps all the time.
Oh, Alan's the nerdy guy.
Yeah, he's the nerdy guy.
He was from the smart. He was the dumb one of the smart family. Yeah. Speaking of kids, did you notice that the classroom was full at one point when it first started, and then like half of them leave?
Yeah.
And they never come back.
Only a certain
just like real
handful.
summer school.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, we got it whittled down to the cast. They had to cut out all the extra weight there. So,
But you've also got Anna Maria, who ends up in the class just by chance. She is the foreign exchange student for the summer.
Yes.
And Chainsaw and Dave are smitten from the moment she walks in the door.
Yep.
And
well, why not?
I think it's a fun little thing there that they're
starts
smitten over her from the get-go.
I would say it starts like kind of like these guys are the worst.
Yeah.
We're in the early bit of the film where I'm like, these guys are awful. They pull their desks up to her and like really are like too much. And I'm like, I'm not going to like this movie, but they kind of back off and she ends up kind of liking them. She looks like Rose Byrne to me.
Okay.
She look like Rose Byrne.
I was trying to place who she reminded me of, and that's exactly who it was Rose Byrne.
Yeah.
I just remember from Austin Powers, a lot of vagina.
That's right.
Oh, that is who it is. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right.
That's her.
Is that
That's
is
her.
that the first Austin Powers?
Yep.
I've only seen the first one.
It's the hot tub. It's the hot
Allow
tub.
myself to introduce
Did
myself.
you just say you've only seen the first Austin Powers?
No, you didn't let me finish my sentence, dear. I only seen the first Austin Powers a couple of times. I've seen the second one many, 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 many times.
What about the third one?
Maybe once or twice.
Come on, man. Beyonce.
It was not gold for me. But as we get introduced to all these kids, we start to learn, all these little quirky traits about them and the reason why they're in summer school. I think with Chainsaw and Dave, it's just that they lack focus. They can't concentrate on what they're supposed to do because they're so into what they're doing. All that and drunk. Yes.
Well, and Chainsaw's dad is not terribly involved.
Right.
We've learned. I don't know about Dave. He just got in with Chainsaw and
Well, it's like his dad says. I mean, they share two brains that you can't. They're inseparable. And I think
your friends can get you in trouble. That's Dave's problem.
Right. If Chainsaw jumped off a bridge, Dave would probably follow him. So, did you guys ever have a teacher that was just like cool and nonchalant and just like, hey, hang out, do what you want. Like, I'm just here.
I mean, not like this. This guy's like trying to get arrested, and he was, but he's trying to be put away forever. Yeah, I mean, cool teachers we've all had, I think, teachers that were willing to break the rules for you and be kind of.
See, that's one of my biggest hangups with Shoot Peers. I mean, this is a movie, obviously, and they're playing into the movie. We wouldn't have a movie unless he did certain things, but I feel like a teacher, anybody in their right mind, would not go to the lengths that he goes for these kids in some situations.
Well, there's a few here that are insane.
Yeah. Well, remember, he's threatened with his job. He's going to lose tenure, so he's kind of freaked out with Vice Principal Gill over here threatening that.
Yeah, but I mean, he's almost way too chill in certain situations that he should be like freaking out over, in my opinion. Like there's like he rolls through this movie very chill, like almost like dude level, like cruising through the world. Like
but he does kind of seem like that. Like,
no, I mean, he is, but I mean, he kind of grows by the end, but
it's like
ultimately,
it's like he says to Gil in the beginning, I ain't no English teacher. See, double negative.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it pulled me out of the movie a couple of times, just how completely chill he is over any situation.
And how he's, I understand. I mean, I don't know if this is bad for phys ed teachers, the way he portrays it in this, but the way he's always asking Kirstie Alley's character for help in teaching. And I don't know how to teach. Like, dude, you know how to teach. You just don't know how to teach English. And it's like he plays dumb for a lot of the movie. And I think a lot of that is for show for Gil because he doesn't want to be there. But also in the end, like, it seems like he really doesn't know what he's doing. So I just kind of find it weird that he would be a teacher within the school system, phys ed teacher or not, and not know how to work with kids and get them to sit down and pay attention and learn things, like.
Right. I mean, you think of movies like School of Rock, where he's not a teacher, and that's why he comes in and he's a terrible teacher because he's not a teacher.
Right.
In this case, we do have a teacher.
This is a guy who's up for tenure. Like, he's had a teaching job for a long time. Like his tenure.
Yeah, but he's just Jim, and he just lets everyone grade themselves, I guess. But
he's playing up to the stereotype of the phys ed teacher.
My dad was a PE teacher. I should probably mention.
I mean, we had them. I had a couple of coaches in school that, they had went to college and actually had a degree in other things. But there are some that were like, well, if you're a coach, you have to teach some kind of class, teach life skills is one of them.
I had teachers that taught me. Yeah. I mean, coaches that taught me.
Taught driver's ed.
Yeah.
My dad taught driver's ed and PE, but he also taught biology and some other like anatomy and things like that. But yeah, I mean, this definitely makes fun of the gym teacher a bit, which is fine.
Well, if there's anybody to make fun of in the school system, it's the gym teachers, right?
Hey-o!
Sorry, Eric's dad. I didn't mean to make fun of you.
He does listen occasionally.
I know. And he likes everything that we post on Instagram.
He does.
All right.
Thank you, Scott.
What a guy.
Thank Eric's dad. You're
Scotty,
awesome.
shout out. We got to shout out my mom too.
Cindy, yes. Supporters of the show.
I see y'all wearing those VHS File shirts.
Mm-hmm.
They do wear the VHS File shirts.
Awesome. But I mean, back to like the whole thing with Chainsaw too. I mean, he's besides Shoop and his story. I mean, the main kid in this that we primarily focus on is Chainsaw through this. But I love, like you said, he didn't know what to do. And they're like, let's do field trips.
Which would never happen. Never happen.
I love how he has them in his pocket. I have permission slips and everybody signs them and they go go-kart racing. They go to the amusement park, get on roller coasters. And one of my favorite scenes of the whole movie, the bunny scene.
Yes.
Yeah.
Again, they should not be in school. They should be working in Hollywood.
And before that was their Siskel and Ebert shtick where they're kind of rating things. That was hysterical. I thought that was so funny.
And we'll see you at the movies.
Yeah.
It's passionate. It's plucky. It's smart.
Oh, it's perfect. Like I said, you guys would totally be Dave and Chainsaw. Like you got like as like a horror fan and listen to these guys talk about Tobe Hooper and talk about all these.
That's really, I mean, when you get down to brass tacks here, that's really the thing that sticks out in this movie is those two guys and the hijinks that they pull throughout this movie. And there's this, you know, the big scene later on that's coming later, like that was what made this movie stick for me. I don't think if that stuff wasn't here, this movie would not be memorable for me at all.
Well, it also treats them with respect in the sense that, it kind of makes fun of how goofy they are, but like it shows us that the teacher recognizes that they do have talent. They even though they're not interested in school, they have value. I mean, that's the stuff that makes this movie, the heart of this movie is like sort of that message of, misfits are into different things and not everybody fits into that cookie cutter of school. But the fact that they're treated with love in this movie makes it even better.
That's right.
That they're not just annoying. They're not just like annoying pieces of shit. They're not like Egg and what's his name, and we're just like freaking annoying as hell the whole movie. They actually show that they have.
I was waiting for it. Come on, Josh, do your Egg.
Thank you very much.
We don't need Nathan on the show anymore. Josh is doing all the impressions.
No. If we need impressions, we're hiring Nathan. That's all there is to it. But yeah, I mean, you find out that all these kids have problems, whether it's school problems, home problems, and everything. And Shoop decides, you know, his job is at stake, and they basically, you know, he gets caught with them, you know, going to roller coasters and going to petting zoos and all this stuff. And, you know, he's threatened. He's like, hey, you're not going to get your tenure. You're going to get fired. It was like, well, what if I get these kids to learn? What if I can teach these kids? So he makes a deal, or basically the kids bribe him to help them with their problems, and they will help him get them through this class. And I think that is where the nobility and everything starts here. Like, I think that's very noble of him to offer to help these kids during this downtime. I mean, he would have been in Hawaii. Now he's spending it with these kids, helping them better themselves.
I think it shows he's really susceptible to blackmail.
Oh, true.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And the kids figure that out too, because they attempt to blackmail him again later.
Yeah.
Well, some of the kids have, you know, problems that they really need an adult's help with. Right?
Denise is an example.
Sure. Denise and
Pam. Yep.
Well, no, not Pam. Pam's hungry or thirsty, whatever you want to call it. Rhonda is pregnant, needs somebody to help her, you know, and, you know, some of these kids have no adult supervision. They need someone to teach them, you know, how to drive, like you say, and the football kid and Francis's dad is never around and things like that. But yeah, some of them take advantage with the party. You know, Pam wants naughty things.
She's into older guys. For sure.
Totally inappropriate.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, should we start with the party at the house? Party at the house, highly inappropriate. You're trying to get fired.
True.
Yeah.
Or arrested.
Well, his couch gets fired.
Then, hey! And then, as if that's not enough, you are just chilling in your bedroom with a 16-year-old girl
who is not 16 years old. Not 16 years old.
No, definitely early 20s.
She was definitely in her 20s.
That scene, I'm like cringing the whole time.
Does he really not realize how far this is going?
He seems a little bit oblivious about it, which he shouldn't as like a teacher.
Yeah. Yeah. He was fine with them all partying in his house. And then she comes in his room and he's like, oh, hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
And then once she starts pushing the envelope a little bit, he's like, yeah, that's not totally right. But
then later, when she moves in with him,
he lets her move in.
Yeah, he lets her move in. And then she's like his partner because she's cooking and cleaning.
The scene, we're getting ahead of ourselves, but the scene when Kirstie Alley comes in and sees this student making dinner for him. That, I mean, the fact that she doesn't call the police at that moment.
Well, her, but then the fact that he is just so like, what am I doing wrong?
Right.
Like,
yeah, this is fine.
Yeah.
Nothing weird here.
Well, but to him it didn't, because remember, in the bedroom, I mean, we do see Shoop has morals. He does.
True.
Because he basically tells her
he's not gonna, but he doesn't. He's completely oblivious to the fact that it looks.
But at the end, he kind
bad.
of see the look on his face, like, "Whoa, this is going too far." We gotta.
yeah, like we understand that Shoop has morals, and we, as the movie viewer, know where his heart is in all of this. But he's a teacher, and he's not thinking about what all this looks like at all.
Yeah, he is clueless.
Absolutely. And that,
well, to him, to the outside world, they're clueless, but to him, he's doing the right, good thing to help these kids so he can help them pass, so he can keep his job. But he knows that I'm not going to do anything with this kid, to him, but the outside world doesn't know that's what's going on. But in his mind, he's like, I'm not going to touch a 16-year-old girl. I'm not doing that.
Yeah, you never think that he's actually considering that.
But the outside looking in, yeah,
but
it's
very
just so
it's tone
disturbing.
deaf. Yeah, that he just does not see any issue with that.
Now, one thing that this movie does do that please, if anybody listening has seen a movie where they portray this in a different light, let me know. You can email us, you can hit us up on social media, whatever, and let me know if you guys have seen this. But I really like the fact that they have Rhonda here, who is a pregnant high school girl, and she doesn't seem down about it. She's not like depressed like I've seen it portrayed in a lot of high school movies. And then you've also got Kevin, who is actually interested in her and being nice and offering to help, and you can tell is attracted to her,
treating her like a person.
Yeah. You never saw that. I never remembered seeing that as a kid when I was watching. Like the pregnant girl in school was always shunned because she was a pregnant teenager and she made mistakes and whatnot. The way they portray that relationship here and the way Rhonda is and Kevin, like, I think all of that is great here.
I do really like that whole story.
Yeah. You're right. She's always treated very like just a normal kid. And yeah, it's not treated like a tragedy and even the end where she decides to give the kid up for adoption. Right. It's not treated like it's like, I'm not ready for a kid right now. It's very progressive, really, especially for 87.
For sure.
That's true. And on the lighter note, she was not pregnant because in part of the movie, when they slap her on the belly, you can hear the sound of the ball under her breath.
When she introduces herself. Yep.
You can hear it.
But since we're talking about her, let's go ahead and get into
Almost Famous.
I know that, dude. I don't know them. I know her.
Haven't you ever heard of that guy? What's that guy who was in that movie that was out last year?
I'm sort of famous for being almost famous.
So is Rhonda everybody's almost famous, I'm presuming?
Yeah.
And what is she from, Jason?
Oh, God, hold on. I'm thinking.
You got to be ready. It's snappy, buddy. You got to be ready to go at any moment's time.
You want something snappy?
Yes.
The main thing I remember from was The Blob.
Wow. Not what I was expecting to hear.
Saw? Were you going to say Saw?
For sure.
Yeah. But I remember the Saw movie, but the first time I remember other than this was she was in the remake of The Blob.
Yeah.
She's the main girl in there where her boyfriend, when she walks into the office, is being eaten alive by the blob.
Yeah, I mean, she's the only one. I mean, of course, you've got Kirstie Alley. Mark Harmon he's NCIS. I mean, you're going to know him from that. But
I would say those are both bigger names than
too famous.
Yeah.
I thought maybe Ken Olant, the Larry guy.
See,
he did. Well, he did lots of TV.
Yeah, and then also Dean Cameron, Chainsaw. I remember him from various things.
Yeah, my other one was gonna be Kelly Jo Minter, the one that plays Denise. She was in Mask, Lost Boys, The Principal, Nightmare on Elm Street 5, House Party, Doc Hollywood. She was in the TV show Fame.
Oh, you said Lost Boys, and I'm like, who the hell is she? She is. I just remembered this, and it's funny because I have the Lost Boys sitting right here next to me because I'm doing a YouTube video about them. But she is in Lost Boys, but she's in it for a fraction of a second. I just remembered that. If you look in the video store, at some point when they're in the video store, she's in the very background. She's like a customer at the video store. Wow, I just remembered that. I'm glad you brought that up. That's funny.
Yeah. And the other one, just because I thought it was cool, was the guy that plays Kevin. His name is Patrick Labiture, whatever. I think it's French, Louisiana.
One more time, Jason. One more time.
That's all I'm going with.
That is a tough one.
Yeah, but when I looked him up,
Labuteau.
Yeah,
that's tough.
He played on Little House on the Prairie for a lot of years. He was in the show Jag through I think its entirety.
He jag off.
Yeah. But the thing that I liked the most that I did not know, he was in the Spider-Man animated series. He was the voice of Flash Thompson.
Huh.
Back in the 90s. I'm like, okay, now I know where I hear his voice from, because I just watched some of those the other day. So, but
Another football player.
Yeah, another football player. But yeah, I think we would all have to agree. Probably I would go with Rhonda or Denise.
He's a football player in Heathers too.
Yeah, I was about to say he's in Heathers. He's in Ski School, which we just talked about.
That's right. Yeah, Heathers. I forgot about
Three
that.
Ninjas.
I thought he looked familiar.
yeah. There's a couple of 80s horror movie alumni here.
And I think it said a lot of them were also did episodes on 21 Jump Street. Almost all the kids in the cast were on there at some point.
The kid who sleeps in class all the time, he was in April Fool's Day.
Oh, yeah.
He played one of the kids in April Fool's Day. Courtney Thorne-Smith, she was in Revenge of the Nerds 2, which came out the same year, just earlier than this. And apparently she was very big on
Melrose Place.
Yep.
Melrose Place, of course. Also, in one of the most famous Conan videos of all time, interviews, where she's on with Norm Macdonald, and she comes on after him, and he basically interrupts her interview the whole time and makes fun of her, and it's hysterical.
I have not seen that. I'll have to look that up.
It's great.
But we're all in agreement that Shawnee Smith would be our almost famous for this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's mine. Yeah.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Sounds good to me.
You just recognize her immediately.
Yeah. Yeah. Out of anybody in this cast, I mean, that's definitely the one that I would focus on the most. I mean, Mark Harmon, it seems like such a household name, and it seems like he should have been in a ton of stuff, but really, I mean, other than him being famous for NCIS, like, let me see, I'm looking at his films here. Well, The Presidio, I remember The Presidio was big in the 80s. Other than that,
he was in Wyatt Earp.
Yeah.
He had a part in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas too, as a reporter.
Again, probably a background. Oh yes. Oh yes, I remember that now. Wow. That just made me want to watch Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
But even his other TV, he was on that show Saint Elsewhere and Chicago Hope.
He did a lot of TV.
Yeah. So he's kind of been around, and he's very noticeable, I would say. Yeah. But NCIS, most people just know him for
Wow,
gigs on NCIS.
NCIS is still going. 2003 to now.
Yeah.
I mean, that's insane. They're closing in on 20 years. No wonder he's not in anything else. He's been in one show for 20 years. Jesus Christ.
He found the moneymaker. Doesn't need anything else.
Easy peasy.
Getting on into this, I mean, you got Chainsaw and Dave who are basically running this movie, in my opinion. And they, with one of their stipulations, well, they get two because they're two guys, so they get two. I mean, it makes no sense the way Dave explains it, but
we're two because we get two. Well, there is two of you,
and they get Anna Maria's.
Yeah,
I forgot about
hers
that
too.
Yeah,
but Shoop has to drive them to work because they're drunk on the way, like drive them to work after school or whatever, and then he has to host a showing of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre in the classroom. I wish I could have had I wish I would have had the balls to have asked a teacher to pull that off in school, because funny story. I remember we've talked about this story quite a few times, but never on the podcast. But at one point, it was probably like the second to last day of school or something. We have a mutual friend that we had in high school. I won't mention her name, but she, for whatever reason, had a VHS copy of the Rocky Horror Picture Show on her at school. And one of the classes I don't think you were in the class, but I was in class with her, and she was like, the teacher was just like, I'm over this. We're not doing anything today. It's the end of the year. And they're like, do you guys want to, put a video on or something? She's like, I have the Rocky Horror Picture Show. So legit watched the Rocky Horror Picture Show like the second to last day before school was out. I had never seen it at that point. And I was like, not only was I like, what the fuck is this? But the teacher like did not care, was completely oblivious to all of it. I was just like, fuck it. It's the end of the year. Let them watch Rocky Horror Picture Show. And I'm watching Tim Curry dancing around in drag. And I'm like, what the fuck is happening right now? I would have much rather watched Texas Chainsaw Massacre at that time. Now I love Rocky Horror Picture Show, but at that time I was like, what the hell's happening?
Well, I do love Rocky Horror Picture Show, but I think I would still watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The original. You have to put that out there. The original.
The remake is okay.
I agree.
The first remake is that Michael Bay at Platinum Dunes did was good. I mean, then you got the beginning, and then
let's not talk about Texas Chainsaw 3D. Jason and I went to the theater for that one, and
we almost walked out.
I almost walked out. I don't know if you were there, but I actually did walk out of the theater at one point.
Yeah,
he did. Chainsaw over here.
He got up and left,
and I debated coming back, but I did.
It is horrible.
It's terrible. Absolutely.
I mean, I know it had Gunnar Hansen in it. It was him coming back to the movies, but it was not.
Do you think Chainsaw and Dave would have approved of that movie?
Fuck no. It would have been 2 thumbs way down.
Way down.
way down. When they had to do the essays for class, we get the very, 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 very speech.
Yep.
But I love that they're doing it on Rick Baker.
Yes.
Yeah.
American Werewolf in London, Videodrome and stuff like that. I mean, that's awesome. I mean, with the special effects they're doing in this movie, that's awesome. That's who they idolize the most.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's a fun shout out for all horror fans and movie fans.
But I think it's cool when they're watching the movie and the vice principal walks in and he's just letting it go.
Yeah, I mean, Shoop is sitting there like it does not matter. He's like, "Yep, we're watching Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I don't care."
It was the end.
Yeah,
it's basically over.
New film from the district. Safe use of power tools.
But we've talked about Denise briefly already, and how she has. We don't know this at this point in the movie yet, but she's dyslexic. But she also has an issue driving. We've seen her take her driving, her driving exam and just completely go over the curb, instantly fail. And we get our scene where Shoop decides to let her drive, and it just so happens when he lets her drive is when he's got to take Chainsaw and Dave to their job. The response that Chainsaw and Dave have here is hilarious.
Fantastic.
It's terrible. Like, should not be treating someone this way. But that whole scene, the way it plays out, I think is pretty funny. And Chainsaw is hilarious during all of this. My favorite part is when he tells her to go and she checks her blind spot and keeps checking it. And you got Chainsaw looking back. That whole part. It's like, can I call my dad and tell him I won't be home?
Never.
The biggest thing for me with this is Chainsaw and Dave winning me over by the end of the movie.
True.
Because in the beginning, when they're just awful in class, I'm like, oh boy, these guys are going to drive me nuts. And by the end of the movie, they're so likable. They're just lovable morons. And yeah, it's crazy that the movie does that.
Even their first impression, like I can tell that they're trying to make them very annoying towards Shoop, but I do like that they've hidden his keys. He's like, they're somewhere in this room.
Oh my God.
I
don't know if it's because my parents were teachers. I've done a little bit of like substituting a couple of times, and it just, when they were screwing with him, I was just like, oh my God, I hate this.
Yeah.
I do not like. Oh, Jenny's mom is a teacher.
I also hated it.
Yeah, you're just like, this is the worst. Kids should not be this way.
But the overall last straw, I mean, Chainsaw and Dave, for whatever reason, are drunk on the beach. They don't really get in. I mean, I guess it's the whole teenager, we're going to drink because it's the cool thing to do sort of thing, and especially with the stereotype of the kind of kids Chainsaw and Dave are in this movie.
They're partiers.
Yeah.
The one thing they wanted was a party.
And again, like,
I'm taking this very personal.
And Shoop, like, turning a blind eye to that is also a big thing that I kind of have an issue with.
Right.
And the fact that he covers for them when they're busted with alcohol, again, is like within the morals of being a teacher. You don't do that.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know he's sticking up for these kids. I know they have problems, but like anybody in their right mind would not do what he did in this situation.
Right. I mean, Shoop with handling the drinking. I mean, he let a party at his house. Everyone was drinking. It wasn't just the kids on the beach. I mean, it was a high school party at his house where everyone was getting drunk. So, I mean, he had already crossed a big time line there. But yeah, then sticking his neck out in front of the cops, it's just stupid. I mean, is this guy like trying to get fired, trying to get arrested? He is kind of kind of dopey through this.
Yeah.
Kind of it has his hand held through this sort of growth with by Kirstie Alley, which they don't say her name much. Robin.
Yeah.
Robin.
Yeah,
She kind of has to guide and point out things out to him. Like when Pam is at his house, she's like, do you realize what's happening here? Like, you moron.
She's basically with her eyes going, you're a fucking idiot. What are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah. It's like Joey from Friends is our main character. Like somebody who's just completely oblivious.
I don't know why that tickled me so much. Thinking Joey, I'm also thinking of Chris Pratt's character from Parks and Rec.
Sure, just any character who's just like so dumb. Like you're just like, but like a good heart. But you're like, okay, you're a nice person, but you're too dumb to realize how bad this is.
Yeah,
I forget what it is that's the last straw. It should have been that, but it probably is that. I'm just not. It's been a couple of days since I watched the movie.
Well,
at this
they demand
point,
more,
right?
Well, because he got arrested. Yeah. And he's in more trouble, and now he's going to get fired just because. It doesn't even matter if they pass or not. They're going to fire him because of the kids drinking and
right. He says he's going to be serious now.
Yeah, and he's going to be serious, and they try to do all that, and then that's when
he
they
puts
made
a suit on.
Well, that was earlier too. That's when they made the when they made the original deal. So
that's right.
But he keeps helping them out, and then he's trying to get them along and get them going. And it's when he starts to say to give them, because they're doing good. They're writing these essays. They're trying. I mean, even Robin, Kirstie Alley's character, is impressed that these kids are actually learning while he's doing all these special things for them. But when he comes back, he says, hey, we got to do some practice tests, maybe like this. And they go, whoa. That's not a part of the original agreement. And they call Alan, because Alan's the one who, and he's sitting there, well, we got to get new things. Yeah. I want this, and this. And then he go, I mean, Mark Harmon Shoup he goes off. He's like, I've been arrested for you kids. I've done this, and this, and you can't do this. He says, I quit.
My car's been wrecked. We haven't even talked about chainsaw wrecking his car.
Yeah.
It wasn't even Denise.
Yep.
Yeah. But Denise passed her test.
That's right. Which I don't think a 70 is passing in a driver's ed test. I'm just going to throw that out there.
I thought it was 80. I thought
you had to score higher than normal on a driving test to pass it. Right. I feel like the bar is higher on that. Should be anyway.
This is irrelevant.
You're irrelevant.
True. I won't argue.
But Shoup decides he's done. He goes, one of my favorite scenes, and I think this happens before now, because he goes to the beach and starts wallowing in his misery and is done being a teacher. But one of my favorite scenes in this movie is him and Wonder Dog sitting on the deck, and he's eating peanut butter and jelly out of the jar, and he's just feeding it to Wonder Dog.
I thought his name was Wonder Mutt.
Or Wonder Mutt, that's it.
So
it is.
cute.
Yeah, I love the dog. And holler to the dog. I was actually worried when he was on the beach and he throws the toy into the water.
I know.
The dog starts wading into the water, and I'm like, and he's falling asleep, and I'm like,
well, also at the house party
right now, this dog better be okay.
I had a very bad feeling as well.
I think your bad feeling was at the house party because they throw the firework outside and the dog goes and brings it back in the house.
Oh, yeah, right.
It's very
There's a couple of moments where I'm like, this dog better be okay.
All right. Okay. See how you guys paid attention. What is the name of the little stuff thing that he throws?
Sam, right?
Nope.
No?
Nope.
I don't know.
Where did I come up with that?
I wasn't paying attention.
Bob? Okay. There's another 3-letter name.
Bob.
Bob. He throws Bob in the water because remember he cuts another one because he lost it in the water and he says, "Look, it's Bob. It's Bob."
That's not Bob. I'm not stupid. Human.
Dogs aren't stupid.
But
they are, but you know.
But you were talking about that. Mine is because Shoup is gone. He's like, screw it, and Robin's trying to talk to him about, you need to do this and this. He walks out. But then when Gil comes in, because, hey, good, Shoup's gone. Y'all sit down right there. And he says, y'all are nothing but a bunch of psychopaths. And then he said, you better not be psychopaths tomorrow. And then,
that's called foreshadowing.
That's right.
That said, though, hold up. Before we get too far, I have a question for you guys. Okay.
Sure.
Because I was actually confused. Why was Shoup at the strip club?
I think he was just trying to find a date. I was a little mixed up on that too.
What do you mean? He goes to a woman who was clearly like 10 years plus older than him and was like saying he worked for Playgirl. Remember that?
Yes.
And then, but he was shocked to see Larry dancing. And I'm like, well, okay. I thought he was here looking for Larry, but he was shocked to see Larry there dancing. So why was he there?
No, that's the thing about Larry.
I don't think they explain it in this film.
Well, earlier they said something about he has to put himself out there about dating. They mentioned that really quick. And I think
why would he go to a male strip club to look for women?
I think he's like, well, there's women.
There's women there.
And they're watching
so
a male stripper.
He's only there to pick up women that are clearly like way older.
Actually,
than him,
I think
retirees.
I think that's the end of the conversation he's having with Wondermutt is that he needs to put himself out there, and then it cuts to that scene. But yeah, I mean,
so that's an insane reason for him to be at this club. This is like a male strip club.
It's playing into the plot just so we can find out that Larry's a stripper.
I think there's probably maybe some cut scenes that would explain why he's here
maybe
a little better. There's gotta be. It's just weird. It's like, why is he here? And then he's like, oh, Larry. And it's like, what do you mean? How'd you get here in the first place at night? It doesn't make sense.
Don't tell him how old I am because they don't know I'm 17. He's not 17.
Oh, I had a question, Josh. In this scene, we have Larry is stripping and he's wearing.
Why do you have a question for me?
Well, because I was curious. Did you see any pubes or anything?
Yeah, we all know about you and Keanu's.
I know
pubes.
You're always looking for pubes, so I was curious.
Listen,
did you see any pubes or anything like that?
Larry
pubes?
I don't have the 4K of this. It was not that clear. I can't say for sure, but I did not see any pubes.
All right. Well, if you get the 4K, let's see if we get a little pube action. You let us know. You're a pube guy.
There's not even a Blu-ray for this movie yet. It's only been released on DVD with like bare bones. Bones.
Bones. I had to rent it on Vudu.
Larry had bare bones. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do we?
You know what I mean?
Do we?
Yeah.
Larry was making out with old ladies.
Yes.
He was. I think he was more than making out with them.
Oh yeah, because he kept saying, "I'm in my sexual prime, man."
And Shoop was like, "Yeah, you got a good point, man."
Yeah, I'm not gonna.
Shoop was like, "You're right. School is not for you. You need to be banging old ladies."
Shoop's a fucking idiot. I think Shoop missed a couple of summer schools or something.
Yeah, like Shoop's not the hero we want to make him out to be. Honestly,
his heart's in the right place, but
it is. But he's Joey from Friends or whatever. He's not the sharpest tool in the drawer. You know what I mean? Or what knife in the box.
But let's talk about the scene the next day. The scene. Oh my God. I every time I rented this, it was like sometimes I'd watch it, I'd fast forward to this scene.
Because this scene, this is a special occasion.
Talk kills.
Yeah,
I mean, chainsaw sound.
This is definitely the scene of this movie. It's what made this movie a staple in my watching as a kid, for sure.
Oh,
definitely.
Yeah. I mean, I had only just seen this scene, but I know if I had seen this scene when I was a kid, I would have loved this scene.
Scene? Have you seen this scene? How many times have you seen this scene?
I seen it yesterday.
Okay. You seen it?
You seen it? I watched it.
But yeah, I mean, you've got Denise running out, confronting the substitute, and don't go in there. Like she's not. I will say, Denise is not very convincing going out there. Her acting is not very up to par.
Is this your blood? No.
Go in the room to be surprised by something.
Yeah.
I think is what she said.
Don't follow me back into the room that I just ran out of screaming covered in blood that I'm and you can see her as she walks in there. She's grinning, like definitely not holding character.
Well, that's the thing about Anna Marie behind them too. Like, I don't even think they pay attention to her as they come in the room, but she's just laughing the whole time right behind them. And she's
I actually really love that that feels like she's really just laughing and having fun with it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like that's almost a break on film because she just looks genuinely happy.
Well, Josh threw out top kill. Who had the top fake
Oh,
death.
we should talk about the actual top kill in this scene.
I mean,
I'll go last.
It's really weird, but like I like how they did up Shawnee Smith with the ruler in her mouth. Like I think that looks awesome.
That looks so uncomfortable.
Excellent. Yeah.
Like even though I know it's a prosthetic, like the prosthetic looks uncomfortable.
Right.
I would go with I like Larry's.
Larry's is the best.
But I like the Kevin with the crawling hand and pulling the tongue out of the mouth.
You guys are taking all the good ones. Jenny, your turn.
Is who is it with his guts everywhere? Like that's Larry. Larry's good.
All right, I'll go with the guy with his eyeball, and the other guy eats the eyeball.
Oh,
well, that's Larry too.
That's Larry too. I'm just gonna go with the eyeball eating moment.
Yeah, that's Chainsaw when they're
Chainsaw eats the eyeball.
Yeah, when they said
this is after. It's not really a death. I don't know.
Because that's when they say when they say that we want shoot back, and Gil says okay, and then he just rips the eyeball off of him and starts chewing on it. Dude, that is a great one.
But the hand that's walking across and takes the tongue out of what's his face? Kevin's mouth. Well, when he pulls the tongue out, you can see Kevin's eyes move a little bit. But the guy who's puppeting the hand was a kid that was in the class earlier who left with everybody else and is magically just back in the scene for some reason. Did anybody notice that?
Yeah, because
That's
I was
a great
like,
point, yeah.
I was like, is that a kid that was in the movie, or is it a janitor, or is he just a friend of Chainsaw and Dave's?
He just needed an extra guy.
He may have been a friend of Chainsaw and Dave's, but I do distinctly remember him being in the class in the beginning. He may even pop up at one point later, but he's not part of the regular group of kids that we follow through this movie. He's just very sporadic throughout it. So I find it kind of weird that he was a part of all this, considering he hasn't been around most of the movie.
Yeah. I still like it when they agree and they get to go get Shoop off the beach, and they're still wearing makeup.
Well, even the kid with the saw blade through his head, like that looks really good. I can't remember his name for some reason.
Alan.
But yeah.
Well, Pam's slit neck is pretty good as well.
Yeah, and it's gushing.
Yeah, the fact that they decided to leave all that shit on to go to the beach to approach Shoop, like
all their tubes and hanging out and everything.
It's great. And at this point, we've already found out that Larry has been found out at work too, because his mom came in and his aunt. He
kissed his aunt.
Yeah, he kissed his aunt, and his mom slipped a 50 in his G-string or something.
Yeah, didn't he say his aunt slipped him the tongue
something,
too?
Yeah. But that would be a terrible way to be found out at a strip club, I would have to say. So, but we've talked about the best scene in the movie. Let's go ahead and get into bigger quote.
You're gonna need a bigger quote.
Jason, give me a tagline.
A tagline? Dude, this is another long-winded 80s tagline.
Well, let's tear it apart. Let's do it.
All right, so let me take a deep breath, sit back, relax, because it's a long one. Here we go. Tagline. At Oceanfront High, what do they call a guy who cuts classes, hates homework, and lives for summer vacations?
Freddie Shoop?
Teacher.
Jesus.
That's it.
That's awful.
So long.
I'm like, this is like a paragraph.
It's brutal.
But I looked for other ones. That's the only one they had. But I mean, it's another one. It's kind of a.
Think of all the other movies you could see
sleeper.
in 1987.
Yeah. RoboCop, Lost Boys, Hello.
Especially in the summer. Jesus.
Yeah. I was kind of let down. So. Whack, whack, whack.
Just when you think school's over, summer school's a chainsaw massacre.
That's better.
That's too long.
No, I love it. Compared to that, dude, that's like 3 words compared to this thing.
How about this summer's a massacre?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Or just summer school is a massacre.
Summer school's a massacre.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
That would work in 1987, but I don't think you're going to sell too many tickets talking about school massacres these days.
Oh,
am I right, guys?
It's true.
Yeah.
I'm just being honest.
And what's funny
It's
is
sad.
I think it's Paramount that owns the rights. They've been trying to remake this movie for like a decade or more.
I think there was a straight-to-TV movie or something that was kind of a loose remake of this, but yeah.
Well, I mean, it makes me think of Dangerous Minds. It makes me think of School of Rock. I mean, you've got examples of the sort of misfit class with the teacher and
true
stuff. Yep. Head of the Class, which actually came out a year before this. Remember that show?
Oh,
Head of the Class.
I don't think I saw that.
1986 to, I don't know, it ran for like 4 or 5 years, but
what we got for
like
quotes?
Night classes or something. Oh yeah, quotes. I've got one. You're gonna do well, Jerome. I can feel it. He's talking to the big black dude.
Josh said mine earlier. Chainsaw, as in Black and Decker? No, as in Texas Massacre.
Oh yeah, I couldn't remember if it was Sears and Roebuck or Black and Decker. Well, when Gil is trying to convince Shoop to do summer school, he says, "These aren't real students. They're unmotivated, irresponsible, not too bright. They'll relate to you."
And they did.
It's terrible.
And they did. That's called foreshadowing.
Foreshadowing.
And then Shoop says, "This is blackmail," and he goes, "We call it school spirit." What a douchebag.
That guy's the worst.
There's some definite school truth to that.
Yeah.
All right, Eric, you got another?
Yeah, I do. Shoop was talking to Gills, and because he realized that Gills was dating Robin, and he says, "I'll be darned, you're a heterosexual."
And a damn good one too.
And a damn good one, yeah.
Yeah. I've got more. Do you guys want to go before me?
Jason, you got another one?
Are you going to a funeral? Can we come?
That's a good one.
That's when he showed up wearing the suit.
Yeah.
Oh God, I got so many. I'm trying to find it. Eric just said the one that I liked.
All right, well, I'll go.
We got lapped by an old lady with a walker.
Pam says, "I'm 16. Yeah. Yikes. Cringe.
Yes.
There should have been a hole in the wall in the shape of
Shoop.
Yep.
Shoop. Right there. Also, come back, you dumb dildo.
Wait, you're not a dildo.
Yeah. He said that to the guy.
You got
the
one?
DMV guy.
Josh?
When what's the nerdy kid's name again? God.
Alan.
When Alan gets off the roller coaster and he starts vomiting, and Anna Maria's like, "Is he having a good time?" And Dave goes, "No, he's vomiting."
I like it when they're getting ready for the movie, because like this is totally something me and Josh would have done in high school, when they're just chanting "Leatherface, Leatherface, Leatherface, Leatherface" over and over again. And then it says, "It's an American masterpiece. Our hero Leatherface, he chainsaws his own legs. 2 thumbs up. 4 for gore."
I like when Francis is having his nightmare and he says, "What are eggs?"
I don't know anything.
Tall, dark, and tidy. That's how Robin likes them.
I think it's, what's his name? Kevin, the football jock. He's asking Rhonda, he goes, "What's it like being pregnant?" "Bizarre."
What about when they say, "Save the umbilical cord"?
Yeah.
And the placenta.
And the placenta.
And the afterbirth.
And afterbirth, if it's convenient.
Yeah.
When Shoop's trying to get bail out of jail, and he's leaving the message for Karen, is that her name?
Robin.
He says, "Don't tell that bite in the ass Gil." And then he answers the phone. He's, "When I say bite in the ass, I mean it in the nicest way."
I have one more. I don't know if this, Jenny's going to burn me for this, but I don't know if this is the exact quote, but he basically says, "Get out of here before the college recruiters come and drag you off to Harvard."
Tonight's homework, write a review of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That would have been my kind of homework.
And then when they go to the beach wearing all the makeup, the Get Shoe Bag says, "How can I say no to these cute little faces where they're all wearing all their bloody makeup?"
You know, another quote that I like here, and it gets toward the end of the movie, but Dave and Chainsaw have not been drinking for 2 days straight. And they're like, "How does it feel?" He's like, "Oh, reality is so unreal."
And we get into our standard 80s study montage.
Study montage.
Cue the music, Josh.
It's cute seeing all the kids actually try.
Yeah. Oh, one thing I didn't bring up earlier is Chainsaw and Dave going through the photos, and
such a nice, like, classic, you know, like nostalgic thing of the idea of the photo developer kiosk building, and
we wouldn't know anything about that.
Well, the morals of it are kind of questionable there, but like I say that, and someone we know used to work in a photo place, and we actually came across some pretty awful photos. There.
Somebody that me and Josh knew, and
yeah,
we won't say names.
I remember there being photos brought home that were like, "Where'd these come from?" The photo store.
I believe they made we called it the Wall of Shame.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
It's a whole wall.
It was really just like 2 or 3 pictures, but
no, it was more.
Yeah, I had to I was sitting there. I was sitting there watching that scene, and I was like, "This is fucked up. They shouldn't be." Oh, never mind.
Oh, I did this. I did this.
I didn't. I didn't do it, but I partook in someone else doing it.
Oh, sure.
All I gotta say,
your hands are clean, is what you're saying.
All I gotta say is, man, back in the day, don't take pictures while you're out on spring break doing stuff and have people develop them.
Right.
Hello.
Back in the day and now, don't take questionable photos of yourself because they're going to get out.
Yep.
Well, I mean, but you have them on your phone.
Public service announcement from us.
But back then, you had to take them to somebody, and they saw what they developed. So that's not good. But moving on, yeah, you did bring that back. That same scene, I thought the same thing.
It also reminded me of the guy who worked in the photo booth in Police Academy. We just keep talking about Police Academy a lot here lately. We're gonna have to talk about Police Academy on this show.
That'll be you and Chainsaw over here because I'm not gonna watch those goddamn movies.
Oh
wow!
Oh wow!
Eric's throwing in his veto.
Say no to watching some of the movies you guys suggest.
Yeah,
actually, you do, Jenny.
No,
you do.
But she's still here. She's still on this show.
Have you guys heard of the horror section? Because Jenny's never there.
Yeah, I'm not on it.
Boom.
Okay,
that could just be our regular section if you were there. But you're not, so we had to call it something else because you wouldn't watch it. Jenny, you're a hypocrite. I'm calling you out, right?
Oh, the finger, folks.
This episode is going to be called Movie of the Week, Summer School / Eric versus Jenny Lou.
Cheerleader versus jock. I'm not watching Police Academy.
Police Academy.
This has devolved.
Devolved.
Weird.
Oh my God.
Well, folks, we all love each other here. Just letting you know that. But
I'll go ahead and throw it out there. I love that all the kids don't pass the test.
Yeah.
That's realistic. Great. I mean, it's a great lesson.
Yes.
Like you say, they improve.
Mm-hmm.
And we live in a world where pass fail is so often a determination of your value,
right.
and your final grade is, such a measure of your value as a person in this society. That's why I really like, at the end of this movie, as silly as it was at times and everything, like, it really has a great message, especially for all his faults, Shoop being genuinely excited to hear how much these kids have improved. And maybe they've just improved from 3% to 30%, but they are trying and they're getting better, and that's all anyone can do. Right.
Yep.
Right, Jenny?
Yep.
Right. Jenny probably doesn't even think that. Jenny probably wants all these kids to be murdered.
Jeez, God.
That's a little severe.
Wow.
I agree, Jenny.
Come on, lay it on him, Jenny. Lay it on him. Throw it at him. Me and Josh will wait. Go ahead.
I love Jenny. I love you,
I never
Jenny.
had to improve, so I don't know.
Oh.
I can attest to the fact that Jenny was a straight A student the entire time she was in school.
Little overachiever over here. Little Lebowski overachiever.
and she was at school at 5 a.m. doing cheerleading. Unlike you jocks who were sitting on the bench over here drinking your water and getting your extra credit. So she was a straight A student and a 5 a.m. cheerleader. So fuck you, Eric.
I don't think Jenny ever got up at 5 a.m.
I did.
I don't know.
You did?
And I didn't sit on a bench drinking water, so none of this makes any sense.
I'm just saying.
Wow.
Good Lord.
Eric's like, I didn't ride the pine.
No.
Wait, what? This just
Josh doesn't know sports lingo.
Oh yeah, sports ball.
Sports ball.
That means you sat on the bench, you didn't play. You weren't good enough to play, so you sat on the bench. You rode the pine.
You dumb bastard.
Indeed.
But give it up during the test. I mean, Rhonda goes into labor and she finishes.
Yeah.
I mean, during the test, that was pretty cool. And I do love at the beginning of it when Chainsaw freaking screams out loud.
Yeah.
And he goes, tension breaker.
Had to be done.
Hey, test anxiety is a real thing.
Oh, God,
Like, I have a cousin who definitely smarter than me, but I would often do better in like standardized tests just because I tested well. I did better testing than I did in my grades. And she was like definitely smarter than me. She'd get anxiety about it and, you know, not do as well. But I know if that anxiety wasn't there, she would have crushed me. You know what I mean? I don't know what that sound was for. I guess my story was boring.
No.
Your time is up.
It would have been
Jesus.
It would have been the crickets if it was boring.
I'm trying to say that, you know, Francis is not a lost cause. He has test anxiety.
Yeah.
He had nightmares the night before. So fuck you, Josh.
I love you.
And
I love you too, Eric.
Yeah. Well, I love the fact when they give the scores, Chainsaw fails.
Dave passes.
How dare you? How dare you feel? I'll do it again. I'll try harder. I'll fail next time.
See, I told you Dave's only problem is that he hangs out with Chainsaw.
Well, I guess that's my problem. I hang out with Jason.
Oh
no!
What did I do to get picked on here? I thought this was all about, you know, cheerleaders.
What
and
makes
jocks,
him Chainsaw? Why aren't you Chainsaw? Maybe he's Jason, or maybe he's
Jesus
Dave.
Christ, let's finish this fucking thing. My God.
Oh man. Well, you've also got Gil, who has never been behind these students from the word go. I mean, he's been calling them idiots the entire time, and ultimately it ends up making him, and I want to call her Karen, but her name's not Karen.
Robin.
I'm Josh, the guy who can't remember fucking names. But
he should not be in education.
No, he should
Gills.
not. No, he is terrible.
He's in the wrong business.
He's the one who should be up for firing in this situation.
He should order 2 dinners because he eats one for each face.
That's right.
Am I right, guys?
Yeah. Yeah, because Robin sees to his bullshit finally that outside the courthouse. She knows that he's two-faced. And then even in here, I mean, the principal basically tells him, hey, all I see here is these numbers. It's 125% improvement in their grades. And he gives Shoop his tenure. Fuck you, Gil. Get the hell out. And then we get the nice makeout scene with Shoop and Robin on the beach.
And I have to say, we brought it up earlier, but I love that the dude from the bathroom shows up and takes his test and fucking passes it.
He gets a 90 something. Yeah.
He does better than everyone. He was never taught by Shoop.
Nope. Hey, we're testing in here. I know. I'm in your class. Where you been? Bathroom.
But
oh, I remember you.
At the end too, Bob resurfaces and
Yes.
Wondermutt gets him back.
Yes.
It's the most important thing to take from this movie.
And we
Yep,
get dog kisses.
Yes, the last 5 seconds of this movie, gosh, it ends on such a high note. They fall in the water and gets totally wet.
From
for
here
some
to
reason.
eternity.
Oh, yeah, totally wet.
It's like the end of fucking Planet of the Apes at the end of this thing. Damn yous!
Damn yous!
We won't spank the monkey. The monkey will spank us. Sorry.
Anyway, Jenny, they try to pit us against each other, Jenny, but ultimately we're on the same level here.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, shut the. You guys,
Yeah,
Dave,
you fucking
Francis,
asshole.
Dave, and Francis, take a moment to yourselves for a minute. The adults are talking. So
my name is Chainsaw, motherfucker.
The dog kisses right before the freeze frame.
Yep.
He gives the dog a smooch right on the lips, which you got to do if you love dogs. I kiss my dogs on the lips. I don't care what anybody says. I'm happy to admit it.
Yep. Or even when he's
it's
feeding him, the peanut butter and jelly earlier, like he's just letting him lick it, and then he's just eating it right off the same finger. Like there's no separation between this dog and me.
When you've got a dog and he's your best buddy, there's no, you know.
Well, I have to say, like, I would not eat after my dog. I'll just go ahead and throw all that out the window.
Yeah, I'd eat after Gus, no problem.
You were about to say I'd shit after mine.
Jesus Christ.
I don't know what that even means.
All right, let's get to the good, the bad, the ugly.
The good, the bad, the ugly.
Why? I'll go first. My good is Kirstie Alley eating endive for lunch. Delicious salad. My bad is Alan. He is too awful. Like, I can stand all the other kids, but Alan's voice is like nails on a chalkboard.
What do you mean, Mr. Shoop?
Yeah,
There you go.
Exactly. And the ugly is I'm 16. Ew. That's it. That's mine.
Jenny, what's your good, the bad, and the ugly?
Good is the positive portrayal of teen pregnancy.
Yes.
And her choice.
Damn right.
To give it up for adoption.
There you go.
Also,
let's give it up for Rhonda.
Rhonda. Also, so my bad is Alan, because I could not stand his voice. Ugly, 16.
Okay, Jason.
Let's see. My good, Dave and Chainsaw.
Yes.
AKA Jason and Josh.
Yes.
I love their humor. I love how they help carry on the backstory. I mean, I know the main focus of the movie is Shoop and him moving forward, but they really help the comedy and everything move through this whole movie. I love the special effects that they have for those few scenes in it. It's great. Like I said, it's better than a lot of 80s horror movies, just in those few segments.
Yep.
The bad, I'm gonna have to go with you guys. I think it might be a 4 for 4, but Alan is annoying as shit.
Yep.
Dude, like you said, the voice and just everything about him is just like, to me, he didn't even really fit the class. Like, everybody's a misfit in their own right, but well,
he's overacting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like, everyone's kind of playing a good character pretty decently, but he's being so over the top. It's like all of a sudden Steve Urkel is in the class, and it's brutal.
Yeah, it's just,
I mean, he's almost as annoying as Josh.
Yeah.
Like, close.
Oh,
not quite as annoying.
But and I don't really have a bad other than like what you guys said. I could just agree with that. But I like the movie. I mean, it's two thumbs way up, you know. So it's just great to me. I can't give it an ugly other than 16 things. That's just not good anyway.
Okay, well, it's not going to be a 4 for 4 because Alan did not make mine. But the good for me is
you probably liked Alan.
I did. I can relate to Alan.
I bet you can.
The good for me is the classroom massacre. I really do. That's like the reason to watch this movie for me. I mean, there's other good things in there, but that scene there is top notch. And Wonder Mutt. I fucking love Wonder Mutt.
Wonder Mutt.
Bad is Gil. I don't like Gil. He is a piece of shit. He is a blackmailer. He is an awful person. And the ugly is Kim, who goes to fucking Hawaii without Shoop and makes him drive her to the airport.
Shit.
Fuck her, man. That's fucked up. I don't like that. That's ugly.
Yeah. What a bitch.
That's not good. Hey, but at the end, he ended up with a better woman anyway. He got Robin. She's educated. She's a teacher. She's his age.
Yeah.
So I think in the end,
don't they mention that she was 21?
She was 21.
And how old do we think Shoop is here? 30, 35?
30s.
Oh, no,
because
because when Pam says she's 61, he said I'll be 75.
Okay, do the math there, genius, because
that's 14 years. So she's 16, 5, 4. So he's 9 years older than so he's like 30 almost.
I don't know if any of that works out, but let's move on.
Obviously, some of us.
I think he's in his early 30s.
Obviously, some of us should have gone to summer school.
Follow my math.
But that's gonna be our discussion for summer school this week. We hope you enjoyed our conversation. If you like this, please make sure you give us a good review on iTunes or Spotify or wherever you're listening, and subscribe so you can catch all of our upcoming shows.
Thanks for listening, everybody, to the VHS Files, and until next time, be kind.
Rewind. Thanks, everybody, for listening.
Get the fuck out.
It's over.
You've been listening to the VHS Files Podcast.
Watch a few movies, take a few notes.
If you like what you heard, please subscribe and drop us a rating and a review wherever you get your podcast.
It was fun.
Send your questions, comments, and movie suggestions to vhsfilespodcast@gmail.com.
You sick fucks, you've seen one too many movies.
Don't you blame the movies!
Follow us on all social media outlets at VHS Files Podcast.
Movies don't create psychos!
Check out our YouTube channel for more content.
Movies make psychos more creative!
Thanks for listening.
Shoop talking to Gills. I'll be darned. You're a homosexual. Hold on. Let me rewind that. Rewind that.
Be kind. Rewind that.
Eric, hurry up.
Why wouldn't I shit after my dog?
You just broke the camera. That's a night the lights went out in Georgia.
The show's redhead is singing.
I'm sorry. The show's redhead?
Yeah.
Excuse me. Some respect, please. Mine is real.
No, we don't need to see. We don't need to see. Let's finish the fucking show. I just want to go to sleep.
Hang on.
This show is over.
The good, the bad, the ugly.
You don't have to. That's part of the magic. Let's go. What a disaster. I'm the new host. I don't know what Josh is doing. I'm the new host. All right. Josh, you can host next week. Jason, please give us your good, bad, the ugly, please.
Just want to go to sleep.